I picked up this old rack unit a while back and wasn't really sure what I wanted to do with it until now. I finally decided that I wanted to start building a modular synth system and figured that this would be perfect to modify this rack to suit my needs. I don't want to permanently modify it, so my plan is to make like a wooden insert out of plywood to inset into where the mixer is supposed to go, and then just build up a Eurorack frame off from that with 2x4s. So that was like my rough plan, but then I realized how much more work it ended up actually being than I originally planned. But yeah, so first I started removing the rails from the rack. We'll set these aside for later since we'll be using them again. Then I marked out where I wanted to cut my 2x4s. Since the rack unit has a slanted top, it was important to mark out this angle so the 2x4s will be standing up straight once they're attached. After this, I measured the inside area of the rack so I know how big my plywood has to be. And here's my piece of plywood all cut to size. While I was at it, I also cut my 2x4s at the angles they needed to be cut at, and I also marked out the material I need to remove so that the Eurorack rack cases will fit in the rack unit. And here comes the part of my videos that I always do something completely stupid and unconventional. Instead of using a router, which I have, I decided to use a Forstner bit to remove the material. It worked great. It was a lot of work, and it's pretty ugly, but we won't see any of this anyway once the rack is filled up. So I got everything cut out in these, obviously not the prettiest thing in the world. And then I marked out where these ones are gonna go. And then once I attach these, I'll be able to figure out the height of the back ones. So I think that's the plan. And then I'm also gonna clean up all this mess with some sandpaper and stuff. So off camera, I attached the two front 2x4s to the bottom piece, and then I also cut this top piece out of plywood to just brace everything together and act as like a little shelf sort of thing. And as you can see here, I'm just attaching it with some like standard wood screws. And here it is in all its glory. Off camera, I also cut the two back 2x4s at the same angle as the front, and then I just figured out what height I wanted them to be at, and then I just attached those ones as well. Then I took this bad boy back inside and masked off the edges of the rack unit so then I could start painting it. Again, I don't know why I didn't just paint it outside like on a piece of cardboard, but who knows. And here's me painting everything. I'm just painting it with some like shitty apple barrel craft paint because I don't really want to spend a bunch of money on like some nice like house paint or anything like that when this works perfectly fine for this application. You guys probably can't see this very well because it's nighttime and my lighting is kind of bad, but I have about 3 coats on here. It's looking pretty good. The paint is pretty even. There's not any spots that's really showing through, so I think I'm gonna leave it like this. But yeah, now I'm just gonna peel all the tape off and get this thing situated in there so we can install the brackets on the side. Here's me peeling off all the masking tape, and this is how it looks. Then I installed the rack rails on there. I just did this with some wood screws that I had left over from like an amp that I took apart. And here we're just populating the rack with my one Eurorack case. I haven't really gotten any modules yet, mostly because I didn't have a rack to put them on, but now I do. So I'm planning a whole bunch of DIY module builds, DIY kits, PCBs, all that stuff, so stay tuned for that. Also stay tuned for part 2 of the Dean ML. I know it's been a few weeks since I uploaded the last part. I went on vacation, it was the holidays, so that should be out soon. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to drop a like and make sure to turn on the bell for notifications when I upload next, especially that DNML. I know a lot of you guys are looking forward to that. And yeah, subscribe to my channel, leave suggestions down below for what modules I should build and put in this thing, and I'll see you guys next time.